Welcome to our 5 on 5. Please be joined by Tim Morgan, the president of AAA Oregon, Idaho. Good to see you, Tim. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
So what are your top priorities as the head of Oregon and Idaho AAA?
We're continuing to work on growing our brand, growing our membership. Top priority over the last 2 years has been improving our roadside delivery model and the availability of not only our own fleet in the Portland metro area, but also expanding that capability throughout Oregon and Idaho. So many of our contractors over the past several years, along with us, have had difficulty in recruiting employees, given some of the drug test requirements, and we've been working through that with creatively bringing people in from outside the typical tow industry to help us build our roadside delivery network and make sure we've got the correct response time that our members expect.
It seems like there's fewer and fewer young people driving today. What does the future look like for an organization like AAA if that continues?
Yeah, that's an interesting trend, and we're getting some mixed messages on that. The initial, kind of media around that would indicate that yes, there's a theory that perhaps the new generation, younger generations, may not be willing to drive, but yet we see with new car sales over the last several years been really fueled by the millennials. So we're not really sure if that behavior is something that's temporary, and as their needs grow, they may get back into car ownership or a series of mobility decisions for them around car sharing, ride hailing, and those types of things.
Okay, what about autonomous cars? That's certainly something that we continually hear about, and there's some safety concerns, or we've seen incidents in the past. I imagine you have all kinds of access to information that we can only dream about with autonomous cars.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's not it's not a matter of if; it's just a matter of when. So, when will autonomous cars be here? Where will they be at a point that they're safe enough for general consumer acceptance? It's really interesting to me. The Society of Automotive Engineers has created 5 levels of autonomous, from 0, which might be your old Volkswagen Bug, to a fully autonomous vehicle where you get in and you just tell it, I need to go to KOBI News 5, and it drives you there. The safety concerns along that way and bringing some of that technology to bear is what we're seeing in some of the human guinea pig issues with some of the accidents and some of the tragic deaths around this. So one of the concerns might be, should we even be doing some of these levels? Some of these levels that they indicated, like level 3, 4, should we really do that, or should we just jump like Google's doing with their Waymo product, is just getting right to fully autonomous vehicles? And that's where we think AAA can be part of the voice of educating the consumer about what some of this technology might do in your level of distraction while you're in the vehicle.
That's certainly fascinating. All right, well, we're going to have much more in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Tim Morgan, the president of AAA Oregon, Idaho. Wanted to ask you about the passage of the transportation bill and the challenge to the privilege tax.
Yeah, so one of the components of the transportation bill was a piece in there. It was a privilege tax, a 0.5% sale on tax on the sale of new vehicles. AAA's position during the formation of the legislation, was that we believe that those revenues should be dedicated to the Highway Trust Fund and go to the improvements of Oregon's roads, highways, and rest stops. And so a piece was put in the legislation that if we challenged it, which we said we would, it would immediately go to the Oregon Supreme Court, and that's where it resides now. We're waiting to hear the outcome of that over the next few weeks. But that money was being used to fund electric vehicles, subsidies of electric vehicles. We're very much in support of electric vehicles. We're one of the first clubs in the country to have electric charging vehicles. So if your electric car runs out of juice, we can come and zap that for you, just like we might do for somebody that's out of gas. So it's not a position that we're in that say that we're for the subsidy of electric cars, we're for the promotion of electric cars. This just isn't the right taxing vehicle for it.
Okay, what about Oregon roads? What's the condition like, generally speaking?
Well, I just was in Europe and traveling around Europe, especially in Germany. You get a pretty good sense of comparison of great road infrastructure and infrastructure in Oregon and in parts of Idaho that's in need of repair. The transportation funding package should help that. There's some pain and suffering ahead of us, especially in some highly congested areas of the Portland metro area where they're going to be having some construction projects, and we're going to be diverted into other areas, surface streets, while we work through that. ODOT started that project this week, some of those projects this week, and we're starting to see some of the pain and suffering that might be ahead of us in traffic and congestion.
Yeah, certainly seen a lot of that in the Portland TV coverage. All right, so I want to ask you, you guys have a pretty visible office here on Barnett Road in Medford. What are your plans? Are you making some changes there?
Yeah, we've been working through all of our network of offices. We still believe we're in the face-to-face relationship business. We believe in bricks and mortar, and we're looking at a significant remodel and expansion of our Medford service centers you mentioned on Barnett that hopefully will help serve our employees and our members better.
Okay, good to see you. Thanks so much
Nice
for being here.
to see you. Thank you.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.